So as mentioned, we invited 6 amazing EdTech startups. They all have different focus, such as we have companies focusing on tutoring, online tutoring platform, edutainment apps for preschool children, corporate learning, eye tracking apps for emotional resilience, and lending platform for students. And each company will do 5-minute presentation that will be followed by 6-minute Q&A with the advisory board members, and I will ask advisors to introduce themselves very soon. So the event will take about 1.5 hours. So we will finish probably at 7:30 Central European time and 1:30 Eastern time. And yeah, so Isabella, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi everybody, great to be here. I'm Izzy, I am an associate at Brighteye. We invest in solutions looking at the future of learning and the future of work. We're currently investing out of our second fund now. That's a €100 million fund focused on European-based companies. Typically, we're investing at seed and Series A stages. Yeah, so looking forward to hearing the pitches.
Great. Thanks so much for joining, Izzy. Alexandre.
Hi everyone. So Alex, I work at Educapital. We're very much like Brighteye, EdTech and Future of Work focused fund. We have around 200 million under management, focus mostly at the Series A stage. We occasionally invest a bit earlier, seed and late seed. And we're currently investing out of our second fund, which is 150 million in size.
Amazing. Ata.
Hi everyone, Ata here from Rubio. We're an impact VC fund based out of Amsterdam. We actually cover 2 main themes, one being planet, anything from the energy transition and clean tech and food and agriculture.
Great, thanks so much for joining, Ata.
My neighbor is drilling, great.
Great, thank you. Arushi.
Hi everyone, I'm Arushi. I'm with Learn Capital. We're an EdTech fund based out of the US, but we invest globally, including in Europe, Asia, LATAM, etc. We currently manage about 1.4 billion AUM and are investing out of our 5th fund, which is $220 million USD. We invest multi-stage, early stage pre-revenue all the way to major growth, and check sizes can vary based on the stage investing. Our thesis is pure edtech, so from early childhood to future of work and pretty much everything in between.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Arushi. So thank you for all the advisors and all the people in the audience. So now we can start with the first presentation. By the way, I know there's some issue on my camera. I will just fix it during the first presentation. Sorry about that. So the first company is evulpo. The Christian Marty, CEO and founder of the company, will present the opportunity. Christian, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
Hello, welcome everybody.
Hello. So yeah, now you can start the presentation.
Cool.
Share your screen first.
Okay, then I share my screen. Give me a second. Can you see now my screen? Is this correct?
Yes.
Perfect. So I just welcome everybody. Really nice to be here. It's nice to meet you guys. I do it really short so that you understand the most important stuff about evulpo and what we are doing. Slogan is simple. We make the world a smarter place, and we do this with a learning space where students learn best. So with our learning platform, the goal is that you can learn better than with every other learning platform. We were founded in 2020. We are online since 2022. We have the headquarters in Zurich. We raised already around 14 million. We are live in 7 countries, and we created the whole thing together with around 250 people. So we focus on a really big market. So we are not only focusing on an e-learning market. This is for us just a sub-market. The most important market for us is the global education market that was last year around 3 trillion and will be in a few years 4.5 trillion. So there we want to play a crucial role. So when it comes to governments, teachers and schools, families and parents and other institutions like businesses, we want to play a crucial role. Why? We see that there is a really, really big problem or a bunch of problems within these markets. Although much more money is spent than earlier days, the results of the students, you all know this, go down and down. So there seems to be a really big problem. Also here we could talk about all the problems that these different stakeholders have. The most important problems, the results of students, they are not as good as in the past. They get worse and worse, and here we want to make a change. So the needs, they are the results of the problems. So the governments, they are saying, for example, to take the most important need, hey, students should reach their potential. Students should have better results. Students so could have better jobs. And so the whole society would win a bit. So this is the most important need. And we say among all the needs that exist, this need we take very seriously. And together with leading universities, we create a platform where students, as I said in the beginning, learn better, where they reach their potential. So the solution for the global education markets problems and needs is very simple. I talk about this in the next page a bit more detailed. The solution is there, really simple, to support the kids so that they learn better, so that they understand the school subjects better, so that they can, let's say, have better results in the exams and homeworks and other things that they have to do during their school journey. What exactly we offer? So per country where we are online, as I said, we are online in 7 countries. Per country, we offer 1,600 bite-sized, personalized, and gamified learning journeys covering all or most of the key 12 subjects. All this is aligned with the national curriculum, and all this is linked together with knowledge models. So per country, we created a platform with around 40 people, 30, 40 people, it depends a bit on the country. And all these people analyzed the curriculum, created the learning material, that means videos, summaries, exercises, etc. And then the core team, the tech people, present this material in learning journeys that are not only personalized, but also gamified. I don't talk too much about what the teachers and the parents receive and so on, but there's also the possibility, for example, to assign lesson as a teacher, to see the stats of the kids after they received a lesson, and so on and so on. We sell to schools on one side, we sell to families on the other side, and we sell to general institutions like businesses that have the possibility to present and create in our learning world so-called extracurricular courses about media topics, about financial topics, etc., where they pay also a yearly fee like the others, like the schools and the parents, for being on our platform with their brand. And here I come already close to the end. These are the product KPIs, or let's say a few of the product KPIs. We have really nice ones, I think. For example, the average learning time per session of a student is 26 minutes. I think this is way above industry standard. The average 7-day retention rate is 71%. I think also this is a very good retention rate. We have really low, or I would say in the B2C, quite low churn rates. So 5.9% monthly churn rate. In the B2 school area, it's a 14% yearly churn rate. So 86% of the schools go to a second year. And in the institutions, we have at the moment no churn rate. So all the institutions stay in their yearly contracts and pay year by year. So this just as a small overview, we believe that the platform works. Nevertheless, we say the platform at the moment is not good enough, of course. It's just the beginning. We will do next year a Series A round. And with the Series A round, we build a real platform. So not just a beta version like we call this one. And here I come to the end. I don't want to talk too much about the big go-to-market strategy. You saw it in the document that was shared with you before the meeting. Here you see a bit what we do with the Series A next year. You see then in the next page what we do with the Series B in around 3 years. And you see here the contact details where you can contact the management team of evulpo. Next to me, that was one of the founders, is Jonas. He's also a founder, the CFO. There is Nevena, the CTO, and there is Donny, the CPO. Just a small detail, because I see I have 30 seconds more. The best thing that we will create is the advanced version of the knowledge model. So a knowledge model is just a model that represents the whole curriculum of a country. After a few clicks, we know exactly where the student is placed within the curriculum. And if the student then says to us, hey, I want to have this and this grade in math at the end of the high school, we say, this is the most efficient way that you have to take for receiving and achieving this result. So this is what and will be the future of our platform.
Thanks so much, Christian. Great presentation. So let's move to the Q&A part. Izzy, would you like to start? What do you think about the presentation?
Yeah, no, thanks for that. Really interesting. I mean, of course, love the use cases of more effective learning. I would really love to understand how you are thinking about tracking the impact of learning outcomes on your users. Have you been able to prove that learners using your platform learn more effectively than other platforms?
Yes, we are working together with leading universities that do research about this, where we only say there's only one research question: how much better evulpo users learn than not evulpo users. We do it also internally. Internally, for example, we have one learning path with a specific feature, and we present another learning path without this specific feature. We randomize the two groups, and then we measure how big the impact of a feature is on the learning outcome of the kid. This is a second method that we do internally.
Great, thank you so much. Ata, do you have any questions?
Sorry, apologies. The first bit, my neighbor started drilling just the moment I started speaking.
Yeah, no worries at all.
Who are your competitors and how do you differentiate?
I mean, we have a strong focus on the competitive landscape. Nevertheless, we believe we are unique in that sense. I would say Khan Academy is a bit simple, but Khan Academy is not super focused on the different curricula of the different countries. Usually you can choose your school level or your age or something like this, and then you get what probably fits to this school level or to this age. In our case, it's much more personalized because we deliver the solutions for your needs and so on and so on. Nevertheless, I would say at the end, Khan Academy is the company or the institution that does the most similar stuff than like we do.
Great, thank you so much. By the way, I saw you already wrote about like your company and what your focus, but if you want to talk a bit about, feel free to do it, because I know you had to stop. So
maybe we'll do it later after the Q&A. I have also a question around additionality. So when we look at impact, it's of course we're talking about how many lives you're touching and how deep you're touching them. So the outcome, the learning outcome, but also we look at it from more strategic, but also sort of like additionality perspective. So what would happen in the market if evulpo stops offering its service today?
If evulpo would stop its services? Yeah, first of all, we would lose a really great startup. The rest, I don't know. This is an empirical question. I mean, I'm a philosopher. I did a PhD in philosophy. So I would be a stupid person if I would answer now. To be honest, I have no idea what then happens. I know that it would be really sad for the startup scene. The rest, I don't know what the consequences would be. Definitely not nice ones for really a bunch of kids and a bunch of teachers and so on.
all right, thank you, Ata. Thank you for the answer, Christian. Arushi, do you have any questions?
Yeah. Thank you for your presentation. One question I have, I agreed with the questions from Izzy and Ata. My question is around how you target your markets. You're targeting three very big parts of the market: the institutions, the schools, and the parents. Which avenue have you seen the most interest/success in, and why do you think that is?
ARR wise, it's, for example, quite easy to increase ARR in the B2 business. So together with the institutions where they promote a class within our platform. Also quite nice, it's in the B2C, there we have, for example, very positive unit economics. ARR-wise, the smallest one is the B2 school. Nevertheless, I would say this is the best use case. This is the best use case because on the long run there, you can have the biggest impact in general on learning, first of all. And second of all, you have the biggest impact on revenue, I believe, on the long run. This is our assumption. But in terms of where it's the easiest, B2B. Second easy, B2C. The hardest, long sales cycles, a lot of relations needed. It's B2 school. Nevertheless, it's the most important one, and we focus the strongest on this. For example, there we give also a lot of usage for free because we want to learn and so on and so on. They pay anyway at the end, usually in our experience. But nevertheless, so ARR-wise is not important. Strategic-wise, it's really important. And how we do it in detail, of course, I can present you then. In every country, we do it a bit different with the schools. I can show you go-to-market for schools specifically, of course, for every country.
Great. Thanks so much. Our time is up, actually. Great presentation, great answer, Christian. Thanks a lot. And feel free to reach out, Christian, to learn more about it.
Thanks a lot for the cool questions.
Thank you, Christian. And the second pitch is CatnClever. Before we start, Ata, would you like to talk more about Rubio Impact Ventures?
Yeah, sure. Real quick, focusing on planet and people-related investments. I'm part of the people team, covering anything EdTech, starting from pre-K to continuous learning, the whole journey, but also future of work and well-being. And yeah, looking forward to the pitches.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Ata. As mentioned, the second pitch is CatnClever. Olga will do the presentation. Olga Fiedler. Olga, feel free to share your screen and start your presentation.
Yeah, hello, Fiedler. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mathavan. So I'm Olga. I'm co-founder of CatnClever, digital learning platform for preschoolers. We are also based in Switzerland and also in Zurich. So today I want to highlight concerning issue. Preschoolers spend 2 to 3 hours daily on screens, and 75% of preschool apps offer low quality or sometimes even violent content. So it is urgent need to provide quality digital tools for preschoolers. Our mission is to provide access to quality early childhood education to all children around the world, and especially to quality education. So we are committed to UN sustainability goals, of course, 3, 4, 5, and 10, and especially to quality education for all and reduced inequality. So our app is an AI-driven educational app for preschoolers, which builds essential skills for school and life. It is multi-subject, fully interactive, adaptive, and has a unique parent dashboard. Here are a few screenshots from a typical lesson with counting, phonics, socio-emotional, and movement activities. All lessons are story-based with friendly animal characters created by real artists, writers, composers, and dancers. Here are our main competitors in Europe and in the US. Just a few of them integrate socio-emotional learning in their lessons or personalization. None of them has developed a parent dashboard to track performance and understand the developmental gaps of the preschoolers, our innovation feature. Our major competitor in the US is ABC Mouse, and maybe also Khan Academy. So ABC Mouse, by the way, grown to a triple unicorn over the last few years. Our awards place us at forefront of EdTech. We just won 300K prize from Bill Gates Foundation Tools Competition, and second year in a row, we selected into the 100 Global Collection, honoring the world's 100 most impactful scalable innovations in education. Our team was co-founded by myself and Sebastian, an experienced software engineer. We all are united by our passion for education. With my PhD in mathematics and background in building startups for multinationals, we are now focused on creating our own unicorn. So we are supported by top-tier advisory board with leading experts in learning sciences from NYU, ETH, Zurich in Singapore, and Open University of London. In B2C, we target digitally savvy young parents seeking quality educational apps and support for developmental delays. In B2B, we partner with family-friendly corporations and travel companies, providing engaging content for kids on the go. We also serve children in vulnerable regions. 30% of our users come from such countries like Syria, Iran, Iraq, Ukraine. We started with B2C and premium subscriptions at introductory price of 25 euros per annum. So this year we have switched to B2B and B2G and started working on our partnership contracts. We have grown fast. Until now, we have attracted 170,000 new users. As I just said, we have 170,000 downloads with 30% from crisis regions where we provide the app for free. So, however, the app is currently available just in German and English. So adapting to new languages and cultures is costly and time intensive. So our new GenAI-based tool, developed for tools competition, so will enable fast and cost-efficient language expansion. So our market expansion strategy is very ambitious. We are going to localize the app to various languages and various regions of the global south. We target 670 million children ages 3 to 7 globally, with a focus on 320 million in EMEA, India, and Latin America. By 2026, CatnClever aims to reach 640,000 users, expanding access to quality early education, especially in the global south regions. Our financial forecast, the major revenue growth projected for 29, starting with steady growth, revenue reaches 10 million in 28, and then surges to 90 million in 29, and reaches almost $1 billion in 2030, which is not on the slide yet. So the growth reflects our global expansion plans, strong B2B and B2G partnerships, positioning us as a leader in early education. Our investment needs, we are currently raising a seed round of 1.5 million. The funds will drive content and software development, global scaling, feature expansion, and marketing. Early bird discounts are available, and I look forward to talk to you, to discuss with you your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great presentation, Olga. Alex, would you like to start this time? What do you think about the presentation?
Yes, thank you very much, Olga. I think we've met before. Perhaps one quick question about the product. Is it curriculum based or curriculum agnostic? And related question, this is so you embedded AI in your product. On what side of the product? Is it more on the content production side, everything that's around animation and yeah, how do you use AI in the product in itself?
So in the product, we do personalization using the AI. So the machine remembers the stage of development of a child. So because we track all the mistakes, what are happening in the lessons. So, and if the child is not good enough, so the machine proposes to the less difficult question. If it is very good, so that is much more difficult question and so task and so on. So this is on this level. So, but we also use GenAI tools now to produce to localize the app to more languages and cultures. Right now we are working on Spanish expansion. So, and now our app with pressing a button speaks with emotions of our cat in Spanish, and next will be French and Arabic.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Alex. Arushi?
Yeah, thank you for the presentation, Olga. I saw that you sold to governments and you're focusing on vulnerable and refugee populations getting this app for free, which I really love as part of your impact mission. My question there is, have you done some sort of outcome studies or impact studies that have enabled these government contracts? Since I know that oftentimes they require some degree of impact tracking and data.
So, yeah, we are tracking impact data. So meaning that the kids get, for example, social integration better through the social and emotional skills. For example, we talk with asylum centers here in Switzerland, where we would like to introduce our app. Currently, we have made a couple of proposals where we especially focusing on impact. That means the kids in asylum centers here in Switzerland are mainly talking with their parents their own language. So, and if they go to school, they are unprepared, so do not speak, they understand the language, and so we would like to help them on the preschool stage, so when they start school, that they feel themselves confident and so on, and we try to measure this with success in learning. So because we have this our parent dashboard, which measures this progress, you know. Yeah.
Thank you. Izzy?
Yeah, I would love to learn if you've kind of had any demand from parents to understand, I guess, the performance of their children, because of course, learning difficulties, ADHD, things like that are very rarely diagnosed before children go to school, and it feels like that's the sort of data that you could pick up from playing the game, and I don't know if you thought about that too.
Yes, exactly. This is something which parents, we have been attending now a conference, North Star conference in Dubai, and many parents came exactly for this reason, looking for us, because they would like to understand the deficiencies in child development early, not just in the 3rd or 4th grade of the school, but before that. Because, for example, if you are legasthenia, so you can, if you develop it, if you discover it early, so the child is of course prepared to school and has completely different self-confidence level. And we can provide this with our parent dashboard. So we can even fine-tune, we can show so the kids has deficiency in miscalculus, for example, or cannot understand the letters. And it is very, very important area which we would like to develop further. We even are thinking to tweak our app more in this direction, you know. Just right now we are edutainment app, we are quality learning app, but we would like to add this feature also in the App Store, that we can help the parents to understand the developmental gaps in their children early.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Izzy. Ata, do you have any question?
Maybe on the sort of going back to the evulpo question and the Arushi, right? So you're also active on 3 fronts, so B2C, B2C, and B2G. Where do you see your product gravitating more towards?
So we started with B2C, as I said, but this B2B is very money intensive. So we were looking for money, for seed money, and it was not so easy. So, but simultaneously we discovered that in B2G area and B2B area, there is some demand. So we now started talking with organizations and see a positive response, and are also inspired by some successes of other companies in Germany who do this also. We call it employee benefits. So we would like to offer to family-friendly corporations our app for the employees for free. That means, of course, the corporation have to pay us license. So, and we experience certain interest. Of course, we don't have yet the contracts, but we already are talking with a couple of companies about in this direction. And we see that in Germany, they succeeded already as one company at least. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Direction.
Thank you for the question, Ata. Thank you for the answer, Olga. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Time is up,
Thank you.
and now we will move to the next presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks so much,
Bye-bye.
Olga, again. And the next company is eduBITES. Mark Droner will present opportunity with us. Mark, feel free to share your screen and start your presentation.
Hi guys, you see also my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks so much. Great having you all here and having some time to discuss. Maybe I just start with one of my most important essays I learned when even I was a student. This is something everyone in Germany knows, and this has been on my radar for ages now. So we were, in my former life, I had a consultancy. I'm also professor for 25 years in innovation management. And we were always running after this tested knowledge, the knowledge what people have in their heads, because codified knowledge is all over the place. But for innovation project and now these days for learning, this tested knowledge is what we are aiming at. And what we do is we have 2 offerings for the corporate learning market. We started eduBITES 3 years ago, going to the market, and we built dedicated academies. While doing academies for clients, we built our B2B SaaS offering, which is a kind of a Swiss knife that extracts knowledge out of the head. We have a transformation suite that turns it directly into shareable content. And we also have this as an essence for building academies, because if we now build an academy, we always start with the corporate existing knowledge of the companies, and we don't only throw external content over the fence. And this is the biggest value add and the biggest proposition. I explained the two propositions briefly, how we do that, and have an example for each of them. So we didn't have a better example than this famous iceberg. So we care mainly for the people in a corporation, extract that knowledge, but we also are able to transform all codified knowledge, which means we transform webinars, any kind of PowerPoints, conference meetings, etc., with our transformation suite in those little bytes. We call them obviously eduBITES, but the Lego energy is clear. And we also have a nice AI-driven LXP. But the most important asset we have at the AI agent is an interview possibility. So we can now do qualitative interviews for n equals 1, for 13 guys, for 381 or even more. So we dig into the heads of the people. It's adaptive. It refers to what you have answered. So we can do any kind of offboarding, knowledge capturing of experts, of vast majority of knowledge within the corporation, and make this accessible and shareable instantly. So this is a true 3 suites that we produce. And I explain you one client offering. Again, corporate learning, we started also on the sales side because it's quite close and easy KPIs setting. So this is a big German insurance corporation. They have 8,000 people within their sales force, only on their own payroll, but they train even 30,000 guys. And there is all knowledge that you need for training these days within those people. So you don't need extra external knowledge there. So what we do is we have we call this a sprint builder. So any non-expert can build up any kind of whatsoever complicated sprint. We have a voice interface. So the guys from Allianz, for example, 13 experts on Gen Z, they talk to the machine while sitting in a car, boarding, whatever. So it's totally easy to share knowledge. We have the transformation suite. With the press of a button, we can target group specific, produce 2, 3, 10-minute videos for whatever purpose. And out it comes synthetic videos with everything that you know from the AI and synthetic space. We have some nice videos explaining the whole 360 circle of how we do this on. Maybe you have time to digest this later. And this is also the essence what we use. If we now go to on the corporate side, this is one of our clients for Boda. We do a leadership academy, and we first started to extract all the leadership knowledge from Boda, how they give feedback, what are the values within the corporation. So we absolutely set on what is the existing knowledge and experience within the corporation. And then we look what is the external inspiration they do need. And we also, on the academy side, we have our platform, which you can also see in those videos. And if it's necessary, all the corporations, they do have facilitators, coaches, and that's adapted to this. So that is how we scale academies at this moment of time. Means we now help B2B clients to provide their clients learning solutions. And providing knowledge and providing learning to a specific topic is a big, big relationship builder these days. So for example, Markant is one of the biggest retail guys in Germany, a 60 billion corporation. And they now sell academies to their clients, which is Rossmann, Kaufland, Lidl. And there's 12,000 of those retailers in Germany only. So we only provide our platform, the knowledge sprints. So they get on Rossmann, Kaufland, get their knowledge of these guys into the academy, into the platform, enrich it with GenAI prompting stuff in retail. And then we provided them a new asset to go to their clients. So they resell us, so we don't even have to run after those retail clients one by one. The same we do with the German Association for Digital BVDW. This is the Association for Bundesverband Digitalwirtschaft. So all the digital companies in Germany, it's 800 are there. And what you see there on the platform, the BVD Academy as a Service is provided by us, eduBITES. and the mechanism is absolutely the same. And this is now what we do for big corporations. We do this for Audi in the automotive sphere and for other associations. So we tap into the corporate learning market from both ends. We have the knowledge only extraction SaaS platform. So we don't care. This is kind of this Swiss knife I showed you. So any topic, may this be sustainability, procurement, marketing, teams can get this knowledge out of their teams in corporation, share it. That's it. We have hands off. This is no managed service. And on the other hand, we do these highly scalable academies, sophisticated academies in this B2B2B model.
Great, thank you, Mark. I have to stop you there. Actually, we passed the time quite a bit. So, but I'm sure we will talk more about the Q&A part.
Absolutely.
So let's move to the Q&A part. Shall we start with Ata? Ata, would you like to start? Do you have any questions about the presentation?
Sure. The growth investor in enterprise SaaS in my previous life, let's say, LOL. No, question is, how do you validate whatever's going into the model and make sure that it's aligned with the company knowledge base and values and everything?
That's with the knowledge sprint. So the first content we extract, may this be from Audi retailer training, may this be for Daimler Trucks, may this be for any other corporation, whatever topic that is, we extract this and turn it into shareable content. So the first content we use for onboarding, we do offboarding in healthcare providers. So we can extract corporate knowledge. And this is the starting point for any kind of program the companies need. And then they obviously need inspiration. Like for Allianz, there's within the 8,000 guys, they have done so much GPT prompting, Gen AI application stuff on their own. And we extract this, put this together, and this is the best Gen AI and prompting techniques and content for the insurance because it's done by their own people, by their own experiences, and it's totally fitting to their products. So this is a starting point for every topic we address. And this is also what is turning the old consultancy and professor model upside down, because you always got someone external in, tell me what the world is doing, and then try to make it fit for the corporation. And we turn this absolutely opposite.
And then that kind of applies to also whatever those people are saying to the, what's it called, knowledge during the knowledge sprint, like on the go, boarding an airplane or just speaking to the machine, and then
that's
somehow validated.
We either have the collective knowledge out of a corporation, so we have the feeling what is Allianz, for example, feeling about this and that topic, what competitors do, how we should treat Gen Z. But analytics based, we have an analytics suite. It's even sometimes more interesting to get the 1 or 2 or 3 different opinions of people that is exactly not what the mainstream is doing, and you can very often learn from these guys much more. But this is then classical analytics stuff that I've done for 30 years in my life. So, but the biggest benefit that we experience is not the nice synthetic videos, but the ease of sharing knowledge for the experts, because no expert really wants to share knowledge. Even if they want to share, it's always a burden. And now, anytime you sit, you can do this in a routine every Thursday, every Friday. You come from a client's meeting, product meeting, you have an idea sitting in the morning on your fitness toy. So that is what we experience now working with the clients, the biggest benefit, the ease of sharing.
Amazing.
Interesting, thanks.
Thank you. Alex, do you have any question?
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Alex.
Thanks a lot for the presentation. Perhaps one question on the integrations, but I think we talked about this in the past. Like, how do you embed yourself in the whole L&D stack, you know, versus the LMS, the LXP, and how do you see yourself in this whole value chain of a lot of different products, basically?
Yeah. I mean, there's no client these days who doesn't have an LMS, LXP, whatever, but someone like Boda, for example, he said they like the holistic approach. So even if they have tons of LMSs within them, they bought also our LXP. The Allianz case, for example, they have tons of stuff. We're turning now the web-based trainings, make that edubitable. And if that is not recorded and published, obviously we want to take over at some point also existing stuff, because the whole experience is much better than of a lot of other ones. But we have to be absolutely integratable. We can now upload all content that is there and let people also talk we have the combination of codified and implicit knowledge, but we are working heavily on the integration into Slack, all databases. So we want to sit as a company brain on top of it. So also in our programs, we embed third-party tools like mirror boards, everything that people use every day. And that makes them also use then obviously our stuff.
Amazing. Thank you. Alex, do you have any additional question or?
No other question.
Okay, thank you. Actually, time is up, so we are not able to take more questions from Izzy and Arushi. Thank you so much, Mark. Great presentation. And feel free to reach out to Mark after the meeting to learn more about the company. So thank you so much, Mark. Great presentation.
Thank you.
So the next company is Tempo Reading. Tim Wilson and co-founder Natalie will present the opportunity. Tim, feel free to share your screen and start the presentation.
Thanks, Patrick. Apologies, my co-CEO Natalie's not here. She's recovering from the flu that I've just recovered from. So apologies for my bland background. I'm in the middle of a house move, so we're all going off today. I'm going to share my screen. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, let's fire away. I'm Tim Wilson. I'm the CEO and innovator of Tempo Reading. It's the first eye tracking AI reading and learning app. Just literally today, we went live on the UK App Store, the paid version. Why have we built the app? Based on education is in crisis. You're all fully aware of these statistics. We've got a decrease in attention span due to mobile phone usage, TikTok, Instagram, dopamine addiction to focus. We've got falling home reading levels, catastrophic teacher workload crisis, and just a disastrous school dropout rate for SEND children. This app solves and mitigates all those problems. Okay. We know this has been exacerbated by the pandemic, probably 10 to 15 years impact on those issues as well. So what does Tempo do? We use eye tracking and a text reveal methodology, patent pending. Essentially, we read with the student. We can prevent skim reading to hyperfocus them. We can train the student to focus, putting them into their flow state. We'll come on to that more later. There is no need for the parent to monitor 3 children at home or the teacher 30 at school. Tempo removes that burden. Hyper neurodiverse supportive full curriculum aligned content from ourselves. How does it work? We use eye tracking and the algorithms inside that and the analysis to basically monitor the child's reading, okay? And then we trigger prompts to keep them focused. Very gentle experience, it's not austere, it's to draw them into a metacognitive state of learning, which is how you learn music, sport, and chess. You must slow down to deep learn, okay? So the eye tracking, are you reading or not? Are you focused? Second element is the text reveal. This is set between speeds of 70 to 140 words per minute. That correlates with low beta waves where you're most engaged and hopefully can deep learn, okay? They can't skim read, and this hyper focuses the child and puts them into this metacognitive state, okay? Literally, when you talk about an EdTech app measuring impact, this happens within 3 lines. You will see the child lock in to like a trance, okay? Instantaneous, you're training the neurons in the cerebellum, you're training the deep working memory in real time, okay? So what does that impact have for some people? Well, their oculometer, their own internal eye tracking has got a wider variance in non-neurodiverse. That leaves them susceptible to line jumbling, word jumbling, because we reveal the text word by word in this super smooth manner and then we grey out the line above. It completely mitigates that issue for them, okay? The success here that you can see in the statistic was a byproduct of our testing. It wasn't designed to do this. We started testing, we've done extensive testing in the UK, and we noticed that ADHD children, autistic, dyslexia, just naturally were like, oh my God, this is so much more easy for me than normal reading a book. So that's become quite a big pillar of the offering, and also I go to market where we're focused on. As I mentioned, this graying out, by basically decreasing the issues with white line and word jumbling, okay, you're decreasing anxiety, that is increasing working memory. At the moment, they've got line jumbling, word jumbling, that makes them anxious, that makes them frustrated, that reduces working memory, that creates a negative feedback loop. We are creating a positive feedback loop for their learning. So the results from this are pretty amazing, to be honest. Dyslexia-friendly backgrounds, standard sort of fare. full comprehension questions to do assessments. We're bringing in an actual English reading assessment text as well. And the AI is constantly in loop with the user. Okay, so the child, the student is in loop with the eye tracking, with the AI, with the analysis in real time. Okay, and the goal is to identify their optimum reading speed. Okay, this is their flow state speed. This is the speed that Roger Federer operates at, Jimi Hendrix, Muhammad Ali, Serena Williams when they're performing. But it's also what they operated at when they were learning. Okay, that's been my theory for a while. And that was backed up last year by Cambridge University Mind Lab, who are actually going to have a meet within the next month. Essentially, it's very simple. We all have a neural pulse, right? Mine might be 13.1 gigahertz, yours 12.9, 13.2. That is your learning neural pulse. If you can lock into that or get somewhere around it, it's radically going to change your focus and your ability to deep learn. That is what tempo reading is doing. That is why within 2 or 3 lines, they snap into a trance, a deep learning trance. So really, we've got legacy learning. Here's a book, off you go and learn. Frustration, skim reading, random reading speeds, not optimizing this inside the head of the child. Or we've got this new methodology. Let's help find the child that flow state, the optimum reading speed, that neural pulse that's going to have a life-changing impact for them. To be self-aware they can do this, be self-aware they can actually achieve significantly improved reading and learning results from that. So I'm speaking through this, I don't want to go. Full curriculum content designed by us. It now aligns with English and Scottish curriculum and international baccalaureate. It's basically based on BBC EdBITES, which is extremely popular in the UK education system. The teachers will tell the children to go to the BBC website and do additional study off that material. That is what we've templated for this. Very successful reaction. So summary, can we increase home reading levels without needing parental supervision? Yes, because tempo will do the job, it'll do the analysis, it'll do the reading. We address the skim reading and attention span decline, the dopamine addiction. Yes, there's no dopamine hit when you're studying coastal erosion. Yeah, so you can't gamify this stuff. It's got to go back to basics. It's got to be about how we learn music, sport, chess, how Beethoven learned, Einstein learned, Jimi Hendrix. That is the genius level. Yeah, so that's where we need to put the children and make them aware. Increase classroom efficiency and reduce teacher workload. The issue is critical across every classroom and school globally. The amount of resources having to go into neurodiverse English second language reading intervention, we help lift that burden immediately. Track 30 children in real time and be inside every single one's reading for the first time ever, okay, in terms of the analytics. And obviously the impact...
Team, thank you so much.
I'm sorry.
Passed the time a lot.
So I thought I had it down. There we go. Sorry.
We need to go. Yeah, no worries at all. So let's go to Q&A. Easy, would you like to start? Do you have any question?
Do you use hardware or is it just kind of an app on your phone?
It's all our own AI, own eye tracking. It works on an iPad at the moment. It'll be coming to Chromebook in the new year. Yeah, so it's all our own tech.
Cool, that's great. And can therefore, I guess, the technology and techniques that you've developed be eventually applied to other content formats? So if someone's reading a newspaper article online, could that eventually be integrated onto their Chrome browser or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've designed the tech, so I built the platforms to be totally agile, white label. Yeah, we've had a few early chats with Pearson and Hodders. It's a bit early for them at the moment, but they're tracking us closely about white labeling the tech for them. So yeah, it can be integrated potentially into a browser. We could create a white label app for anybody right now within a week, very simply, and upload their content. We're just putting in a formatting algorithm that will automate the formatting as well for them. So that is coming.
Nice, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, Izzy. Arushi?
Yeah, thank you for the presentation, Tim. So my question is, do you intend this to be for like early childhood, like K through 6 learners, or do you plan to expand this to K to 12 and kind of what that rollout looks like? Because obviously like this seems most helpful when they're first learning to identify these issues and like help them be optimal, but how does that rollout change as you progress to more advanced readers?
Well, you can see from this use case here that this was a pilot last week in the top of Scotland. They've got 60% of their children need additional help, right? It is pretty dire. And this was 12 to 17-year-olds. Okay, so the age range really is just, it's going to improve the focus and the attention span of every child. It's going to make every neurodiverse EAL child from whatever age, well, 8 onwards is where we think the technology sits a bit below that. And if you have a classroom of kids, it's a bit too much to the teacher. One-on-one with the parent is fine. But from 8 above, it's fine. We've done robust testing. We did 100 children in 90 minutes across 3 classrooms, implemented, calibrating, using the tech. That was one of the first pilots. But this has application from every age through students to adult learners. It has application in compliance, HR, anywhere where people are supposed to read documents and focus and deep learn. So.
And one quick follow-up there. Have you seen, so obviously like this seems really helpful, really effective. When people transition from traditional reading to this, there's of course an improvement.
Yeah.
But when they transition back to other forms of just like straight reading, straight text, is there a continued improvement there, or is there some drop off you've noticed? I'm not sure if you've tested, but just
exactly. Yeah, no, that's a really good point, and we haven't. This is so frontier. Yeah, that's why we're talking to Cambridge University. I mean, they're looking at it for cognitive decline. They believe in the technology and the solution. But what you're doing, you're exercising the muscle. Yeah. All I would say is that when we've done the anecdotal testing in the classrooms and the children have then gone to a book, they've all said they're more focused. Now, that's still going to require them to use tempo reading, which is not a one-go solution to their focus, right? It's an ongoing thing. But I think the exciting thing is to think about them using this for a month, 6 months, 12 months. That impact is currently never been done before. No one has collected optimum reading speeds. That's why I'll come on to the slide here. We have a UK Innovation Smart Grant. Okay, we came 3rd out of 1,200 companies. This is very hard to get in the UK, deep tech. The whole point of them giving us this money was to collect this data because it's never been done before, okay, and measure impact and see what it's going to do. So, yeah, I mean, it's exciting, but yeah, at the moment, we're literally on the App Store and now it's go to market, hence why we're raising more funds. But that's a great question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Alex, how about you? Do you have any question?
Not really. I mean, we've met before, Tim.
Yeah,
Perhaps
sure.
one quick question around, data privacy, and you mentioned it, I think, at the beginning, and how you make sure that you're compliant in the way you treat children's data because you'll be monitoring them. Is that still a topic for B2G and how you handle it, basically?
We're not collecting any facial data. We're not collecting anything that's identifiable to them at all. The only thing we're collecting is their eye gaze position and their results. That's basically it. So everything is anonymized, non-trackable. And then all we're doing is just we're taking that into our AI system to start machine learning off more and more data we get to make more assumptions and fine tuning, etc. So yeah, it's minimized as what we can do in terms of that.
Okay. Thanks so much, Alex, for the question. Thank you, team, for the presentation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Any questions, please contact me.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot. Now we will move to the next presentation. The next company is Upstrive. Sven will do the presentation. Sven, feel free to share your screen and start the presentation. When we can see the presentation, but we don't hear you. Okay, now I guess.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Sven Maikrans. I'm the founder and CEO of Upstrive, where our focus is to make kids mentally strong. With this, we try to contribute to a huge global problem, the declining mental health of teenagers. Since founding, we have successfully launched our school program. We've secured some seed investment, and now we've developed a family version. So every second teenager considers their mental health as bad. These are global numbers, pretty much across the globe. Even worse, we have up to 22% that consider suicide as a potential option. This is not just a problem for the teenagers. The parents are extremely overwhelmed with this problem. They don't understand a lot of this. This is something they have not experienced. So they feel just as overwhelmed with the problem as the kids. It comes into the schools as well. We see huge stress levels, as we've seen in some of the previous presentations. Teacher well-being is at risk, but it's a key predictor for student outcomes. So it needs to be connected to the solution. And research shows that appropriate apps can actually help to manage the health and well-being. So we see a holistic solution. The solution can only be by including parents and schools and not just the suffering teens. That's why we developed Upstrive. It's the only solution that considers all three and has applications for each one. Over the past years, we've implemented the Upstrive education version. We have about 40,000 paying users now. We have 90% growth rate. It's a slow process. We heard this before, long sales cycles. So we're expanding into other areas now. But overall, we see this as a strong focus and one of the biggest potentials for the application. We have won multiple awards. We're working with reputable schools. And one of the things we're most proud of is what you see on the bottom left here is we've been called as an advisor to the OECD for their 2030 education agenda. If you've ever worked with the OECD, it's a very, very difficult process to get in there. And they have actually actively called us in as experts in the field of well-being and self-worth. These are some pictures from the schools. I just was in Dubai. We started our, we founded the company originally in Dubai when I lived there. We now moved to Europe. So I live in Austria. I just came back from a trip in Dubai where well-being and mental health is deeply integrated into international schools now. They are our core clients. They're the innovative and early adapters, and we see this slowly moving into the public school system as well. We have developed a B2C version. I was very pleased to see that some of my predecessors here, they were also talking about a combination of B2C and parents and B2G and potentially B2B2C. We're doing a similar model. We see a combination here as the success. Our B2C app is in the App Store. We have launched this recently. We're just in the beginning of getting this to market. It contains 4 key elements. Everything is research-based and evidence-based. We work with universities and psychologists and develop this. The key parts here are reflection tools to understand and regulate your emotions. There's a journaling part. Most proud of, we have developed an AI coach. This is not just some umbrella of ChatGPT. This is actually a triple stacked AI with very, very deep coaching skills. And we get amazing feedback for this, which is a 24/7 assistant to find solutions for the kids. And there's a growth element around building skills. We're not in therapy. We're in prevention and skill development, which is very important. But it's one of the biggest potentials we see to create a handshake with the ones that are in therapy. We also developed a tool for parents. Parents play an integral role in this. They normally don't have the knowledge to deal with this. We're giving them insights. We're giving them solutions. They also get an AI coach, and they can create a reward system together with their kids, which is customized to the needs of the kids. The B2B version directly sold to schools is quite cheap. It's €6 per user per year. The B2C version is more. We have huge opportunity to scale this. We're currently in several countries, and competition is more around single applications. We see huge opportunities in multimodality mental state assessment for coaches, therapists, teachers, and parents, B2G, B2B2C. And we're currently seeking a seed round for €1.5 million with a current investment of already 900K from existing investors. And with this, I would like to remind you that every second teenager we see learning is only possible in a certain mental state. And that's what we're trying to support. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Sven. Ata, would you like to start? What did you think about the presentation?
Super cool, and nice to see you again, Sven.
Yeah, good to see you again, Ata. Thanks.
Yeah, we're really interested in this space. We've made a few investments already. I think for me, what's really interesting to learn a bit more about is that what's what you see as your North Star in terms of impact, and how are you actually measuring if you are improved mental well-being outcomes?
Yeah, this is an interesting, what you see here on the bottom is this has developed almost as an additional sell-up. We seem to be one of the few apps and systems that actually do impact measurement as part of our work. And we have more and more companies and more organizations approach us to actually support them in impact measurement. So we can do this independent of our content. And we see this, we see a huge synergy here in working with the organizations that are in the schools, that are on the ground, to help them measure their impact. So almost as a support application. We also will create this handshake. We hear from coaches, therapists, teachers, parents on these organizations that they suffer from this point contact, they call it. They see them for an hour, they see them once in a while, and they see Upstrive as the bridge between the physical contact. So we're seeing really interesting movement in the market of potential applications of Upstrive, almost as a supportive tool as well for the ones that are on the ground in the schools.
Thanks.
I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, thank you, Ata. Izzy, do you have any question?
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. I really like that. Would love to know a bit more about what your engagement is like and how you are encouraging children to use on a regular basis, as I guess that's how they really get the most out of it.
Yeah, so we've collected data for almost 3 years now. We have about 1 million data points, and we're starting to be able to analyze like bigger data. With AI, we see some super interesting hypotheses we created through AI. We see a direct correlation between teacher engagement and the success of this system. What we see mainly is that the kids and students, they want to be heard and seen. And when we see teacher engagement, we get huge results. So we are actually focusing a lot on creating benefits for the teachers, right? Stress is one of the biggest parts that you can motivate teachers with, like in reducing stress. So we're trying to tell them, look, if you focus on this, your classroom will be more engaged, your stress level will go down. So we create a win-win. So over time, we see a dynamic that when the students see the benefits, they engage more. When the teachers see the benefit, they engage more. But it takes time. We normally start with small classes and motivated teachers, and then use them as ambassadors in the school to sell internally that this actually works.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you, Izzy. Arushi?
Yeah, thank you for this. So my question's kind of around parents. You said that that's an important part of the ecosystem and that you wanted to help parents with the parenting skills, with the emotional coping to support their teens. Do you have any current features that are doing that, or what does the roadmap look like there for you?
Yes, the app you can download on the App Store is a dual app. When you sign in, you will be asked whether you're a teenager or a child or a parent. And then you get automatically directed to the parent version. The parent version has an AI coach trained specifically for parents, and the solutions you see here, they're specific for AI for parent topics. So you see, for example, something down here is Teen Talk. There's specific communication tips, how to stay in touch and keep the connection with your child. This is a key component of it. So it exists already, the parent part. We're thinking about creating something like, we call it the parent's driver license. So you really almost get certified as a parent in communication and dealing with the emotional issues. A bit like first aid type certification.
Very cool. Thank you.
And Alex, do you have any question?
Yes, thank you very much for the presentation. Just one quick question on my side. How are you thinking about, you put it on one of the slides of interacting with therapists, pediatricians, I think that's the word in English, and, transitioning, or like, how are you bridging, let's say, EdTech and health tech, so to speak?
Yeah, this is, again, something that we didn't plan, and it developed. Because all these groups have short contacts and they struggle with everything in between. It's like almost you get a very intensive connection with a coach or a therapist or even teacher. And then there's nothing. The kids are left with nothing. And then weeks later, they have contact again. So they see Upstrive as an amazing tool to track everything in between and provide support in between. we're creating now handshakes. So when the AI coach detects certain patterns, that we create like a GPS-based handshake. We say, look, the child is in Vienna, and we know, hey, it looks like you would need some more support. Why don't you contact this and this organization? So we're now linking with these organizations, and when we detect the need for professional help, we create that handshake.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Seven, for the presentation. Great presentation. Feel free to reach out to him after the conference. So now we will move to the final presentation. The final pitch, final company is Invest At. Carmina, CEO of the company, will present the opportunity to us. Carmina, feel free to share screen and start.
Okay, hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'm Carmina, CEO and founder of Invested. My parents broke out of poverty by getting a college degree, motivating them to work 30 years in microfinance. My family background is what drove me to become one of the world's leading experts in education finance. This allowed me to understand students very deeply. Take, for example, Hannah here, a 20-year-old college student in the Philippines. Her family makes just enough to put food on the table, which is why she needs a loan for tuition. Hannah can't just walk into a bank and get a loan. She doesn't have credit history or collateral. There's microfinance, but the loans are too small for tuition. Hannah can try all the fintechs out there, but she doesn't have enough mobile transactions to qualify for a big loan. With no government subsidies, this leaves her with very few options: drop out of school or get into a debt trap with loan sharks. There are 500 million youth in the developing world, just like Hannah, who need financing to move up in life. I founded Invested to change these statistics, starting with the Philippines. When I started this in 2018, my idea was simple: build tech and algorithms that will make student loans profitable for funders and impactful for students. The problem was there existed no robust data to build a good model. So I raised $6 million to build the Philippines' largest data set of unbanked student loans. We had prominent leaders, VCs, family offices, foundations, and corporations participate in this experiment. With the funding, we built an app where students like Hannah can get a loan for college or upskilling. We also built a system that can deposit tuition directly to almost all the schools in the country. We then tracked the thousands of borrowers we acquired over time and ran hundreds of experiments on them. This led us to build Alvin, who uses simple but powerful data points, such as school and degree, to understand a student's credit risk, from education to early career. Based on this, Alvin profiles students to recommend the appropriate loan design and to produce a risk and revenue score for Invested to make a decision to lend. Right now, Alvin is accurate enough to ensure 80% of those we lend to pay on time. So what about the 20% who don't pay? For them, we have Jade, another algorithm that uses behavioral data to determine if the borrower needs a strict or educational intervention to get back on track with their payment. For example, to de-risk Hannah, an inconsistent payer, she'll be linked to the appropriate content and be connected to her employer network. On the other hand, Mike, as a ghoster, means Invested will assign him to a collection agency instead. This model is very effective at recovering past due accounts. It led us to have these repayment rates, the best in unbanked student lending to date. Our loan funds come from these types of funders. We allow them to participate on our platform based on the scheme that best fits their financial and social return goals. The effectiveness of our innovation led funders to keep adding money. For example, we scaled our healthcare education fund by 4x during the pandemic, and by next year, another 8x based on funders in the pipeline. And we didn't relinquish student impact in this process. 73% of our students move up at least one step in the economic ladder after graduation. We continue to be a role model in the Philippines as the only one licensed to do student loans. This is my vision. We're planning to break even in the Philippine market by July 2025 and are raising funds from investors to achieve this milestone. Afterwards, we plan to begin international expansion into 8 other markets. To date, there's 11 of us startups in the developing world who have tried to solve this problem. Everyone else, whether failed or still operating, used the same model which could not achieve high repayment rates at scale, unlike our model. We have the team to make this happen. Apart from their strong professional background, all of them come from the same background as our students, allowing us to grow Invested while remaining customer-centric. To end, Invested was actually the only financial institution that trusted Hannah with a loan. With our loan, she was able to get back on track and graduate cum laude. And with everyone's support here, I hope we can secure the future of millions more like Hannah. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Carmina. Great presentation. Arushi, would you like to start your comment?
Carmina, love the presentation and love the impact you've had in the Philippines so far. It seems like your entire team and your knowledge base is quite Philippine-centric. What's the roadmap look like for expansion to other countries? Is it maybe countries adjacent to Philippines that have similar demographics that you've collected data on, or what's kind of the plan that you envision from here?
Great question. Thank you so much. So yes, our data set is mostly the Philippines. However, I actually studied 60 countries and their public and private education financing programs. And that's the biggest study in this kind of student lending to date. So it's mostly my personal expertise in this space. And I've already been invited around the globe to talk about this niche. So that's first. And you're right, Arushi. So these markets are my target because based on what I've studied and the networks I've actually built in these markets, I know all the operators, fintech, edtech, and so forth. They are actually the most similar to the Philippines. So the vision is actually, in US and Europe, which I think most of the attendees are in this call, student loans, it's not a new industry, right? It's a normal thing. But in emerging markets, the developing world, it's like no one has built really like a model that became successful. And we're the farthest, we've gone the farthest in solving that. So I invested in its model to fit emerging markets with broken education employment systems and like more nascent financial technology infrastructures. And yes, my thesis is that this model will fit in like similar consumer markets. I could be wrong. However, it is my knowledge in this niche over 15 years that is telling me that I am likely right. But yes, I could be. And of course, there will be customizations. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Arushi. Alex, do you have any question?
No, it's a market I know a bit less, very interesting. One of the things I had seen in this space was the challenge from, let's say, loan or booking to revenue. And is this something how are you thinking about mitigating this? So you have a loan book that grows, and then down the line, there's a big lag to revenue. How are you thinking about this?
Sure. So what I mostly talked about is our core business, which is actually the student. It's more of the lending business, but we are actually starting to evolve into a platform business with 6 other revenue streams. And so as a company, our value now is really more on the data, wherein like growing the lending business first allowed us to accumulate a lot of data. And this is where the business model that we envision actually is, right? So right now, this is our business model on the lending business. And then we've already piloted, because of the strength of our data analytics and so forth, Gen Z product placements. For example, we're partnering with big brands who actually want to do insighting with our Gen Z borrower base. So we've started to get paid for that. We're also monetizing now our data because we're actually the only institution in the Philippines that tracks students, that tracks actually humans across 3 sectors: education sector, financial sector, and job sector. And we actually found that's very powerful. So a lot of our lenders now are actually employers who are like gaining insights from us. And we're also sharing the data insights with schools. So we're piloting talent recruitment also. And our coaching alone is also going to be monetized because we also have that. So basically, Alex, to your question, on the lending business, it is going to be profitable by next year. So, but the problem for that in terms of like venture investing, right? It's a low return on equity business. And so the business really have invested is the Gen Z education to adulthood data play. which is actually we found can be monetized in 3 sectors, and actually 6 revenue streams, which is this this business model that you see. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex. Atta?
Just a quick question clarifying, do you have like an income share agreement type of model where you also align incentives with sort of, because you mentioned talent recruitment, etc. Just curious.
So with we're actually the only institution that does like all the types of like forms of loans. We do both income sharing agreement and also interest bearing loans. So what makes Invested different from all student financing, where people often argue about loan structures, we actually do AI driven loan structures, which is if you're a nursing student versus an engineering student, maybe the latter will fit income share agreement while the former will fit interest-bearing loans. And what we have done at Invested is on the fund side, we actually engage with philanthropic to commercial funders that you see here. And based on the return profiles, hey, if you're philanthropic, maybe you're more for income share agreement because it's longer term. And we match that with the right students. Hey, if you're like a typical commercial debt funder, wanting like fixed income returns, we're going to match you with more like middle class students where you get your cash flows back more quickly. And this is something actually that took a while to build. But apart from my education finance experience, I actually spent a couple of years in impact investing also and innovative finance in my previous work, which allowed me to understand this big spectrum of funders. And my last note on that would actually be we believe, like my belief in terms of the future of student financing is that there is no one right loan structure. The right student, the future of student financing is like AI driven loan structure. And we found that's why we have high repayment rates, because we don't try to do templated loan design like ISA or interest bearing. It's like really fit to the students' cash flows. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Atta. Izzy, how about you?
Yeah, no, I just, given you have found this ability to collect such interesting data points on people that give you, you know, quite reliable potential outcome on their ability to repay. Have you thought about using that for other loan applications? Like, for example, if someone needs to relocate post-education for their job, or is that not a market that's too interesting to you?
That's actually, we actually do that. Yes. So we actually primarily do college education loans. However, we do get applications who just want to do upskilling. We also do that. But we also launched like alumni loans, wherein our students who want to take masters or PhD, they can keep borrowing from us. And you're right, Isabella, even for other purposes, such as starting a business. You know, once they're already a borrower with us, we also allow that. And we actually have the biggest youth entrepreneur fund in the country, where we fund like business majors who have like need to put up businesses and need capital for their thesis. But we also fund like students who want to pivot to full-time entrepreneurship. So yeah.
Wow, really cool. Thank you.
Just to add, we also do gadget loans for online learning, which really like exponentially grew in the pandemic. And if we pay the school the tuition directly, we also pay the gadget supplier directly. And we also do allowance loans for those students who are cash strapped with like transportation or food. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you, Izzy. Thanks so much, Carmina. Great presentation. All right, so that was all. Thank you for everyone staying us until the end. Thank you all the presenters, all the advisors. Before just we close, maybe we can hear just final word from the advisors about how the event went. Maybe we can also make small comments about EdTech ecosystem this year, since it's coming to almost year end. So yeah, feel free to make some comments. Atta, would you like to say anything about it, about the event?
Yeah, super exciting, and really enjoyed getting to know everyone. Great presentations, really interesting technologies. And well, future outlook for me is gonna be really around outside the box things, around influencers, social, as the demographics change. I think that the stuff that will drive also change on the especially, let's say, childhood of children, from, let's say, pre-K to 12, education will be completely different than what most of us used to. I'm really looking forward to what's ahead.
So thanks so much, Ata, for your contribution. Izzy.
Yeah, no, thank you very much to all the presenters. I think it was really cool to see the breadth of challenges that people are tackling and different types of solutions that are being applied, which really is representative of, the breadth of the wider edtech market and how much technology can play a role in really kind of transforming some of these landscapes, whether it's educational outcomes, really kind of being at the heart of it. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much, Izzy, for your contribution. Alex?
Yeah, thank you very much for the event. I mean, it was good to see familiar and new faces. And with regards to, the edtech market more generally, I think we've had a rough couple of years and hopefully we're seeing market picking up again and brighter days ahead, let's guess.
Yes, thanks so much, Alex. We hope to as well. So, Arushi?
Yeah, no, really loved being here. Learned a lot from all the really great presentations. Really struck me that everyone was solving problems that we're all familiar with, but truly taking a new lens on it, taking a new approach, being quite differentiated. So that was really exciting to see. And, at Learn Capital, we see a lot of education innovations. We've been around for quite some time in this space. And what I like to say broadly about the education market is a lot of big shifts. Of course, AI is disrupting a lot of things, but also the world has changed. Like 2021, that was peak ed tech. That's when everything exploded. The market grew like something like 8 or 10x that just in that year. And now with less funding, less government funding, especially in the US for education innovations, and just kind of the less artificial inflation of the ed tech market, we're seeing a lot of companies that aren't providing true outcomes and true value going out of business. And the companies that are most aligned with their outcomes, their impact, the end user data, truly being the ones that are able to bear all the headwinds that the market's experiencing. So I am excited to see that a lot of the people here were pretty diligent and intentional about measuring the impact. And that's something that I think we will continue to see in education, kind of similar to healthcare, wanting more focus on the impact as part of the evaluation of which companies to either invest in or purchase from like outcomes-based purchases.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Arushi. Great comments. Great to have you here. Thank you all for the contribution. And the next EdTech Investment Conference we'll have potentially will be in June 2025. So until then, I have to see you our other events for the other sectors. Thanks so much. Thank you all for joining and have a good evening or have a good afternoon. Wherever you live. Okay, bye-bye.